Hey, Tszyu is just annoyed with Keith Thurman at this. I know he can't wait to put hands on this dude. We gotta talk about it. What up, YouTube? Big T.O. Heavy Bad Boxing TV, man. If you don't get your goofy ass in here and hit the bag, hit that like button for your boy, that helps the channel. You know I appreciate that love. Shout out to gang, man. My bag hitters. Y'all know the count. Tszyu, Keith Thurman, Tszyu, man. I'm looking forward to this one. I can't wait for this one to happen. And your boy Tszyu just appears to be more annoyed with Keith Thurman than anything. If you've paid attention to Tszyu, he's got like this lackadaisical type of attitude. Like he's really calm and cool under pressure. You know, he's a laid back dude. Not much of, in my opinion, you know, a shit talker and somebody that could really hype a fight. And Keith Thurman is more like this WWE figure that, you know, that type of promotional style that he has, where it's almost like a wrestling promo that works to some extent for a lot of people. And it can be entertaining to some extent. It's extremely corny, but it can be entertaining to some extent. But for Keith Thurman, he just appears to be annoyed. He crashed the interview. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Shout out to Fight Hype. You can go and check that out on Fight Hype, where Keith Thurman and Sean Porter are having an interview. And here comes Keith Thurman. He kind of butts in. Oh, here comes Tszyu. He butts into the interview. And they have some back and forth banter. And it's more of, you know, the WWE style and doing a lot of rhyming with words from Keith Thurman to Tszyu. And Tim just basically telling him, listen, man, I'm going to knock you out. It don't really matter what you're talking about. But you could tell more than anything, Tszyu is annoyed. But what struck me was the fact that Keith Thurman said he's not like all of these other fighters that Tszyu has fought, that he's a hungry fighter. And this is where he kind of stumped the Schwab, speaking about Tszyu, because Tim says, hungry? Dude, you've been on vacation for 5 years. What are you hungry at? What are you talking about? And that was right on point. I felt like that was a beautiful point that Tszyu made, because the inactivity of Keith Thurman should tell you everything. Listen, the dude's fought once in the last over 4 years, right? Tszyu's right. He's kind of been on vacation for, you know, the past 5 years, basically. And, you know, when you that inactive, whether it be management, the promotional company you with, or whatever the case may be, that's something you allowed. A hungry fighter is going to get out there and make fights happen regardless of who's standing in the way. You know what I'm saying? He's going to weigh all of his options. And Keith Thurman most definitely has not moved like a hungry fighter. And that's why I say you just really don't know what you're going to get in this fight when it comes to Keith Thurman and Tszyu. Keith, again, if you one of those older fight fans like myself who can remember Keith Thurman back in 16 and 17 and even 18, you know, or even 19, you can remember him, you know, being a unified champ. I think it was the consensus at the time that he was most definitely one of the best welterweights in the world. You couldn't take that from him. I even picked him to beat Manny Pacquiao. He's only got one loss, and that comes to the legend, Manny Pacquiao. A lot of accolades for Keith Thurman, but inactivity is killer. And at 35 years old, that's a hell of a mountain to climb into Tszyu. So you can say what you want about Keith Thurman and coming into this fight. He better be all the way prepared, and he better have the legs, and he better hope Tszyu doesn't just radar in and zero in on that midsection, because we all know that's problematic for Keith Thurman. But for Tszyu, just annoyed. And I know he can't wait to get his hands on Keith Thurman. It's going to, listen, I like this fight, man. We all should be paying attention come March 30th at this main event for sure. And I think the undercards are going to be spectacular as well. But this main event with Keith Thurman and Tszyu, I think it's going to be a really, really great fight, man. I think it's going to lead to some even bigger fights for Tszyu. All right, that's all I got for y'all on this one, man. Big T.O. Heavy Bag. You know who I got with me, man. Talk to him, Roger.
Most motherfuckers don't know shit about boxing.